The Super Eagles go into their match day 9 encounter against Lesotho, hoping that South Africa either drop points against Zimbabwe on match day 9 or also drop points against Rwanda on match day 10 to stand any chance of qualifying for the World Cup. With eight games played so far, the Nigerian Super Eagles do have 11 points and find themselves in a very dicey situation to reach the World Cup in 2026 in the United States, Mexico, and Canada. But before then, the Eagles have an uphill task on match day 9 as they face Lesotho in faraway Polokwane, hoping to get maximum points and then go into the final day with hope and plenty of faith in their hands. The Bishop joined me as we preview the game involving Lesotho and Nigeria that will be coming up on Friday, 5 p.m. Nigerian time in faraway Polokwane, South Africa. Now, the first time both sides met on match day 1, that game ended 1-1 at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo as the Eagles failed to pick maximum points. Now, 23 players have been called up, but unfortunately, not all 23 have been able to arrive camp. We only have 22 of the 23 in camp, 21, I beg your pardon, of 23 in camp, and have been training. And the Eagles will have one more final training session before the match day. The Bishop, big game.
Yeah.
On paper, the Super Eagles should be winning fixtures like this.
Yeah.
But it's unfortunate that when it comes to the Eagles, you don't even know which paper you use. Whether it's cardboard paper, whether it's A4 paper, whether it's plain sheet, or whether it's Fusca paper like we used to do in secondary school, you know, and all of that. But it's a big demo about it. The entire Nigeria will be on that game. Anything other than a win automatically kills our World Cup dream.
Yeah, like you did say, unfortunately, how had the mighty fallen, how things have changed. The scenario would have been 4 or 5 years ago that Nigeria would go there and pummel, annihilate, destroy, decimate, put to the sword this Lesotho team. But unfortunately, look at where we are at the moment, where we are putting our hands together and hoping that despite we having 2 of the African Footballer of the Year in consecutive years, that we have the best team enough to just get us the victory far away in Polokwane. But like you said, good news is that the players know what's at stake.
Do they really know what's at stake?
They do. I've been listening to them for the past 2 days, and the feeling from the camp is that we want to do it. We want to do it. We want to get at least a victory. No, they know automatically that it's not in your hands. But for them to take it all the way, they must win in Polokwane. But I feel it's going to be very difficult because all South Africa needs to do, if I've done my participation, is get a victory against Zimbabwe, and then whatever we're doing is more or less dribbling. Because I know the best we can finish is 17 points. South Africa got 17 points. Unfortunately for Nigeria, we're not scoring goals and they have a better goal difference. That could be what decide the dog. I look at the other games. Rwanda will have to play 2 tough teams, so they can't keep system. Play Benin Republic, they'll play South Africa, meaning that they're not sure they can win both games, but the Republic has to play Nigeria. So if Nigeria's going to take all 3 points, they're helping South Africa do a favor, So at the end of the day, I don't do partition that South Africa are the better advantage heading into this match day 9 fixture. But like you said, first of all, it's simple rocket. It's not rocket science. You have to beat what's said before you. And what I said before the Super Eagles is the crocodiles of Lesotho. I can't remember last time where Eagles failed to soar high above crocodiles, but we saw that in Uyo. Terrible performance by the boys. Managed to sniff out a 1-0 draw thanks to that header from Sam Semiaja, who also returns to the squad. So maybe it could be that motivation they need to move forward. But I know that they just have to win the game to force it to the final day. But we know it's no longer in the hands of the Super Eagles. So more or less, I think it may play a positive role for the Super Eagles. Why? Because they're not under pressure. All they do is just win the games and see how things go.
Well, the Eagles camp are opened on Monday.
Absolutely.
In Polokwane. The team did not have any training session on Monday.
Yeah.
Had its first training session on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then followed by another on Wednesday. The Tuesday training session had about 17 players, in it. And then the following day, 2 other players joined up with the team. Though I have my reservations that why can't the Eagles camp open on a Monday and we have all players arrive on a Monday?
Like I said, it will have shown it will be like a sign of intent. In the sense that Nigerians will believe that these boys are taking this game serious, because let's be realistic, I don't think any Nigerian player, if not, maybe a microscopic few, played on Sunday. So if you're playing on Saturday or playing on like some of Chukwueze and the rest of them, you're playing on Saturday.
Chukwueze playing on Friday.
On Friday and Saturday, then you should be around by Monday. It's not you're not flying. You're flying to South Africa. It's the easiest route to hit in Africa from Europe. So for me, I was quite disappointed by Monday. It was just the coaching staff that were in camp. I felt that the fact that they arrived so early would have sent shockwaves down the spine of South Africa. A statement of intent, at least to get Nigerian fans to see, we know we've messed up. We've almost thrown these qualifiers to the gutters, but we're ready for reprieve. We're ready for for a restoration, recovery, and we're eager. We're gonna get a point. So again, I'm not happy with the way they trickled into camp, but again, it doesn't not an excuse. The boys have to stand up, and Chelle knows his job is under massive pressure. There were rumors springing in past 2-3 years. Exactly. So he must win this game, at least to give Nigeria something to cheer, despite all the whole babradash, the bad issues, the garbage and baggages that has been happening in Nigerian football in recent times.
We're 8 games so far in the qualifiers for the Super Eagles. One thing that worries me is the fact that we are conceding and we're also not scoring. 9 goals scored in the World Cup qualifiers, an average of just 1 point, thereabout 1.19 or 1.12, 1.20, I beg your pardon, per se for the Super Eagles per game. Now we've also considered 7 goals, meaning we've considered almost every single game we've played at the World Cup qualifiers. Now we have a goal difference of +2. You just made the mention. The South Africans, though the luck the Eagles have is that they were deducted 3 goals.
3
goals and 3 points. South Africa have a +3. It means that if South Africa wallop Zimbabwe silly.
Wow. It could be almost over.
Silly.
Could be almost
it
over.
Means that we now have to score ×2.
Against
what South Africa do. So that's where the first pressure is for the Super Eagles. Can we score those goals? Now, it's not a matter of win Lesotho. It's a matter of can we now score handsomely? Because South Africa beat Zimbabwe, let's say 4-0.
For a team
it automatically means that our World Cup dream is over.
Yeah, like you said, first of all, I need to first talk about the back line, Unfortunately, Chelle himself hasn't really gotten the best combination at the back. He's tried so many formation, no thanks to injury as well, where we had Semi in the first game and then Ekong and he's tried so many things. And it looks like in the last game, we finally got a pairing that worked with Bassi and of course Frederick. But unfortunately, injury has not been kind to us because right now it looks like Frederick is going to play right back. So what does it mean? It disorganized the setup again. No thanks to injuries and the issues around the team.
Are we saying that Nigeria only has 2 right back?
No, we don't.
Because if Olaina is injured, which we know,
and Bassi is injured as well,
and you called an Osai Samuel, who is also injured. Now, it is only natural
it's common sense. You
should have a right back.
Common sense.
But instead, we called up Zaidu Sanusi.
I'm going to have 3 left back in that team. That's absolutely ludicrous, egregious. It's unacceptable. See, when I saw the lineup, the list, first of all, I felt it was a bit one-sided. We talked about it, and I was not too happy with what I saw from Chelle. And then injuries started to spring forward. You took out the striker. I think the striking position was overloaded. You got in Christian Uche very good because, first of all, I thought the midfield was a bit light with 4 midfielders and they need help. These guys who have been playing are more or less defensive and they've struggled to break down teams. Unfortunately, Alex Iwobi, our most creative player, hasn't been as creative as we want him to be. So, Cristiano's not a bad inclusion, but if the right back picks up an injury, you're only right back in the team and you're calling up a left back. Who does the selection?
So it means that it automatically it's not Simon.
It's not a Simon.
Or a Benjamin Frederick.
What it does that it for a guy who has progressed under the Super Eagles of Nigeria, who has finally picked up his the baton and began to run, looks like the next big thing in the Super Eagles squad. He now forced the boy to go play at right back. And if he's taught us the same issue we had with Mascara, any mistake could throw him out of the team again. And that's why I was this go back to the issue I had with the goalkeeping issue. When I had why take out Uzo after a wonderful World Cup, he bring out May, and then that May he bring Ezenwa, and then by the time you bring back Uzo again, Uzo is almost a finished article. Consistency, no matter how you want it, there's a need of consistency in the team. So for me, again, I don't like the fact that this injury will have to displace Benjamin Frederick, which I think is the only option he's got right now at right back, which is sad. Are you telling me that in the whole of the world, there is no right back in Nigeria? But talking about Lawi, who should be in that team in midfield, is not there. I think there's no other right back in the world that can be called up with the Super Eagles. It's absolutely shameful to our football and our football administrators and the coaches as well. So for me, it tells the whole story. Goalkeeping, Wabali. I've not been a fan of Wabali. You know that already. From the AFCON, I felt the defense was so tight, was watertight, that he couldn't show out his. And now he's going to show his true colors. I repeat again. Take it to the bank. Everybody who wants to listen to me.
Yeah.
The best goalkeeper we have in Europe is Maduka Okoye. Unfortunately, he just returning from a ban, injury problem, and all the issues around him, and that's why he's where he is. But at the end of the day, man, I still think we should be serious about it. We have a goal scoring issue and a defensive issue that we need to sort out.
Well, we do have a goal scoring problem and also a defensive issue that the Super Eagles need to sort out. Now, the Crocodiles of Lesotho are also not out yet because the 3 points are given to them following South Africa's point deduction and meant that the Crocodiles also stay mathematically in contention going into this particular fixture with 6 points up for grab. And they just sit about 5 points below, behind both Benin Republic and of course South Africa. If they win their last 2 games, what it means for Lesotho is that they stand a very good chance of also qualifying, provided that Nigeria, South Africa, and Benin don't pick maximum points in any of their last 3 games. 2 games, I beg your pardon. Or South Africa and Benin don't even pick points at all in their last 2 games. So the Squirrels are also not pushover.
Cheaters.
The Crocodiles, I beg your pardon, are also not pushover. Talking about Lesotho. Now, where can the game be won for the Eagles? Because 9 goals scored, 7 goals conceded. It looks like we're just there.
See, we have to believe. You know, as Nigerians, we have to take up this positive energy and believe that these boys can turn up. I think the list is lopsided, and I can go on and talk about it for a year from now to the next 2 years. How bad the team has been assembled. But this team, and don't forget, this is the same boys that have persecuted and executed those games. You know, we've played so far in the qualifier, so I don't expect much. Maybe the Nigerian factor where the boys will just step out and say, well, let us turn up. If not, I don't think we can spank Lesotho. I think we can get a victory. When they're playing in a neutral ground at Polokwane, the stadium is lush green. I saw pictures. That's where Nigeria should be playing games. But again, can this team spank 4-5? I still doubt that. But again, the rule is beat what said before. We get 2 games and then look for them. We can then look behind our shoulders and see how pass. But again, we're having a goal scoring issues. We'll unfortunately, injury has not been kind to him. And other guys have been quite scrappy. Whether Senio Dize, whether Aroko Dare, they've all been quite scrappy. And the goals is not forthcoming. The wingers are not helping matters either. Even Lukman struggling for form as well. So we just have to find somebody has to step up and then get us goals. And then we'll see how we take it from there. But at the moment, Nigeria win the game. The answer is no. Can it be a fatigue? I have my questions.
If you put a scoreline on it also.
I'm trying to be modest yet. 2-1 Nigeria win.
Well, 2-1. The Super Eagles winning. Even though a win is good for us, but the Eagles need to score.
Yeah.
It is not just winning games, but the Eagles need to score. Let's talk about Eric Chelle quickly.
Yeah.
The news about his future is something that comes out at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Now, I've said it in the past. I see no reason why Eric should lead us to the AFCON. That's my personal take.
Yeah.
If he fails to qualify us for the World Cup. Because what it means is that we've just given a man who we've just given him 1 year to decide whatever he wants to do with Nigerian football.
Yeah.
Consequences must be met. Unfortunately, we don't have the clear terms of his contract by the Nigerian Football Federation. If it was stated that
for what they told us, say if he wins, qualifies, or he'll be given a 2 year extension. Yeah.
So let me believe that what is in his contract, if he fails to qualify for the World Cup, he should step aside.
Yeah.
I want to believe that. Though he was not entirely at fault for what has transpired in the Nigeria's qualifiers. However,
totally agree with you.
However,
the Chad.
If you look at the point deduction on South Africa, it means that he then takes a chunk of the blame.
Okay.
He played the easiest of matches Nigeria had at the World Cup qualifiers.
Winning all.
The 2 games that were difficult were played by other managers. South Africa and Benin. South Africa at home here and Benin away. Now, he played South Africa away. He got a point.
Fantastic.
But he played Zimbabwe.
Yes. He played Zimbabwe and drew here.
He played Zimbabwe.
He played Rwanda.
And he played Rwanda.
Yeah.
So, if you are saying that he could have gotten a win against Zimbabwe and it would have been a different ball game.
Yeah. But like I said...
So, the talk about his future, is it what should be coming up at this point?
I think the biggest question should be, has he failed? Or has he been successful?
Well, he's yet to test defeat with the
manager,
Super Eagles, the senior national team.
It doesn't matter. The Chan Eagles are the Super Eagles. Nobody, what about Team B? It would be written that they went to Chan and they were battered, shattered. They were destroyed. They were pummeled. They were torn apart. They were shredded. That's how bad it was. I think that's our worst Chan team in a very, very long. As much as we have other bad teams as well. So, has he really been a success? That's a big question. That's the question on the air. I don't want to be the one to answer that question. Because people, if I do say a word right now, I know the word will come for me. But I don't think he has done well overall. Chan was abysmal.
Should he stay?
We don't have a choice. For the sake of continuity, I think he should stay.
He should stay.
Because We've seen coaches who given 4 to 5. Aliou Cisse. We've seen Ragragui, the guy from Morocco, given quite a long period of time to build a team. We all know it was a smash and grab. It was a gamble, a risk, and he's just come and gone. So just for the sake of continuity. Okay, we let go of Eguavon. Sorry, we let go of Eric Chelle. In this, never here is Eguavon. Ladamboso. Is it a step forward or a step backward? Again, I don't want to be the one to permanent because I'm around the football ecosystem. The truth remains, we want a manager that we need. No, like I've said before, I think we've hired managers that need us more than we need them.
Now,
and at the moment,
we need a manager
that we need.
That we need, not the one that needs us.
And is anyone right now in the market that we can afford? The NFL will tell you they're cash strapped, that they are waiting for money to pay and this and that. They couldn't even pay Pesero an upgrade on his salary. That's why he was let go. A lot of issues around the country. So for me, for the sake of continuity, leave Eric Chelle there.
Well, for the sake of continuity, Eric Chelle should be left in charge whether the Eagles do qualify for the World Cup or not. But let me state this categorically. Can Nigeria qualify for the World Cup? The answer is yes and also no. Now, no, in the sense that the Super Eagles will not qualify via the playoff as it stands, except the 3-point, except Eritrea, who did pull out of the AFCON, of the World Cup qualifiers, I beg your pardon. FIFA then decides to do balancing across all groups, meaning that every team that finished bottom in that group, the points you got from them will be taken off. For Nigeria, Zimbabwe is expected to finish bottom in our group, and the Eagles only managed 2 points from that group, from them rather. So if the Eagles end up on 17 points, for example, and then 2 points is taken from the Eagles' points, it will automatically mean we'll finish on 15. But for other teams who have finished second, it now mean that if they had won the team that finished bottom by maximum points, if a whopping 6 points is taken away from them, you know what the mathematics is. That is, yes, Nigeria will qualify. But the no is that as it stands, we will not qualify. The other one is, can the Eagles qualify by topping the group? The answer is also yes and no. Now, yes, in the sense that South Africa must lose one of their remaining 2 games, and the Super Eagles must win and outscore South Africa in their last 2 games. Now, if the South Africa win both games, or even draw one and win one, the Eagles automatically don't make the World Cup. But if South Africa do lose a game, and the Eagles beat Benin Republic and, of course, Lesotho, it means that we will be at the 2026 World Cup. So be the judge. Can the Eagles still make it? My answer still remains yes and an emphatic no. The no is clear for everybody to see, and the yes is also clear for everybody to see. Our fates are no longer in our hands, even though we still have a bit of destiny to control by winning our final 2 games. Well, it starts with the win against Lesotho in Polokwane on Friday night. If the Eagles get maximum points, then we'll look ahead to the final game at the Gospel Akpabio Stadium in Uyo. Football Temple, brought to you by Azar Studios.